Welcome to Business, Bets, and Buddies, the Hounds of Business Fantasy Football League. Join us each week throughout the football season as some of the world's top podcasters discover new businesses, make silly fantasy football bets amongst friends, and promote positivity around the globe. This show could not be possible without the support of Mike King and ESPN Richmond. A special thanks to our sponsors, Caregiving Worldwide, Brilliant Bee Media, and the Walking Tall movement.
Hey, people out there. Welcome to Business Bets and Buddies. Shout out to Mike King, ESPN Richmond radio station, who is going to play this for us, all this exciting talk we're going to have. Business Bets and Buddies was born out of fantasy football using the ESPN app. 11 podcasters decided to go head-to-head and try to take over everyone being able to say they are the champion fantasy football maker. Today, we have the wonderful Tommy beside us. Not only is he a heavy metal star, he also works in the tech of movies, and he is a fantasy footballer himself in another league. Of course, you know the Syya and the Patrick. How about we start with Syya? Syya, why don't you tell us a little bit about Brilliant Bee Media just before we get into the football?
Yeah, I'm a sponsor person. So Brilliant Bee Media, we are a boutique digital content marketing and digital agency. We do everything from consulting, strategy to production, post-production, and of course, social media growth and engagement. So this is literally some of the things that we do for our clients. So Business Bets and Buddies is more of the fun side of live streaming.
That's amazing. She does so much for so many people. There are so many shows that you watch every day on podcasts that you don't even know she's part of because she's behind the scenes eating her little dinner usually and laughing it up. I am James, co-founder and also producer of Soaring Profits and Financial Fitness. My co-host Patrick is also here. Patrick, why don't you give us a little bit about what Soaring Profits is and our new show, Financial Fitness?
Oh, well, thank you, James, for including me. I appreciate you segueing over so specifically. So I'm Patrick from Soaring Profits. Check us out, like, subscribe, and share. We are on all the platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the things. And what we do is we tell people stories. So we take the time and we talk about their paths through trials to triumph and focus on their motivations and how they got there. We also have a financial fitness show with Patrick that airs on YouTube as well on our channel of Soaring Profits. And check it out. We talk about everything from politics to how to make some money and put some dollar bills in your pocket at the end of the day.
Dollar
excellent.
Bills,
Dollar bills. Speaking of dollar bills, apparently what I'm hearing is Sya's a welcher on belts. I don't know. Something about cigars and Mark Reed not getting his cigars. We're going to have to deal with that. We're going to have to get the public involved.
We will talk about this.
And also, I don't see Raquel Flores anywhere from
well, so it was a
corner.
It was a head-to-head this weekend, and I noticed that after a whomping, she absolutely spanked us, and then had the audacity to not even show her face to take the celebratory victory lap. I know. Who are we talking about?
It's like we don't even matter.
Terrible.
Oh,
don't
stop
even
it.
Matter.
Oh, you guys are enough. I'm gonna shut this down. It's Hispanic Heritage Month, kids. And the Canadians apparently don't celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, but we do in the US. So yeah, no, that she's gone all week, man. She's
the truth of the matter is she is busy and she is doing some wonderful things to raise what
awareness.
You just said? Awareness.
It's celebrate
Hispanic
in the Americas.
And she is part of some big things going on, which I'm sure you'll see in the future. Let's lean over to the wonderful Tommy. Tommy, you're in a heavy metal band. Let's start with that because I used to have long hair. I used to love heavy metal. I used to go to all the concerts. And Syya, big fan of heavy metal. So why don't you tell us a little bit about who's your band?
So yeah, my band is we're called Twin Banshee. We're from Southern Ontario, a couple different cities. We got members kind of everywhere. We just put out our first EP last month, at the beginning of last month. It's called Rattle. You can find it on any streaming service. We made sure it's on everything, so you can find it everywhere. I see Chris out there talking about going to see Pantera. I saw Pantera in August open up for Metallica this year, and they were fantastic. So, shout out Chris.
That's awesome. And speaking of Chris, we both Syya
Walking Tall.
and I have the Walking Tall month merch because you know that. Well, once we support Walking Tall every day, and mental health is so important every day. But this is Mental Health Week. I hope you're all out there talking about your stories, sharing, helping each other, and promoting the fact that mental health is important, and we have to end the stigma. We really do. If you're interested in mental health, Walking Tall merch, which is beautiful. There's all kinds. Go to there, right there, and you'll find it. Pat, so this weekend we got spanked.
Wow, hang on. You know, if you're talking football, if you're segueing, is that what this is? Am I reading into this?
Segway, you got to tell us a little bit about football. I feel like we got spanked.
You know, that's why you're all here. You're here to figure out what happened in the Fantasy Football League this year, and apparently I get to tell you all about it. So, what a week. So for us, we at Soaring Profits here, our team, have been the most scored on team so far in this league. Now, this being
so what you're saying
league,
is that we like to get scored on?
Yeah, well, one would think we don't have a defense. The problem is that you don't pick your defenses in this league. So I take that as we are in about third or fourth place and getting lit up. Look who it is, Raquel. Huh. So when we're seeing these scores, we've been getting hammered, but we've still been able to pull off victory. So Raquel ended up our nemesis for the week with a 207.36. In fantasy football, that is ridiculous. That's a huge score. She had a great showing from the likes of Mr. Chase in Cincinnati and Mr. Moore in Chicago. Those boys showed up. They put some points up for her, and those guys alone was almost 95 points. As you can see, that was a runaway. So she had a 207.36. We ended up with a good enough for what looks like a third. Well, no, it looks like we fell into fourth place behind Mr. Asherbrenner with a 160.54. So the victors this week is Team Raquel, Team Racky. I apologize. We have the Hounds of Football, Mr. Asherbrenner. We have Team Level Up with Dr. CJ, Rock the Boat with 112.22, and Team. Who am I missing?
And what did she score? And what did Team Sippy Sippy get?
171.18.
That's so right. I did.
We are now in the projection. We're now in the standings with Mark Reed, Morning Beer Team with a 4-1 record. Walking Tall sitting comfortably second, tied for second in three-way with 3-2 record with Walking Tall, Rock the Boat, and Team Sippy Sippy. The Team Level Up as well included in there with a 3-2. The Hounds of Football with a 2-3 record with the Hounds, Team Racky, 40 going on 4, and Soaring Profits. And then sitting last, unfortunately, I think he's got big hopes for the next week, is the Failure Guys at 1-4. So,
well, he is trying to lead up to his name. But before we go to Tommy, something big happened this week. Something that we've all been hoping for. We've all wished for. We prayed for. The guy who's talking about the cigars, he was dethroned. What happened there? Ooh. I'm pretty excited about it because that's all I wanted from this whole thing.
Look, I don't know what happened other than I wasn't paying attention. Even my own darn teams. I don't know what's going on, but just to see the collapse of Mark Reed's team against Rockies, like Rock the Boat Girl. Thank you for taking Mark Reed down. Woo woo!
Knocked him right out. That was beautiful. So, Tommy, why don't you tell us a little bit about your team? I'm okay with you talking about your team because you got less points than us. So, I'm much more happier about listening to it. So, what happened, bud?
So, I'm happy to say I won this week. I absolutely dominated my opponent, my buddy Ethan. He put up a record low for the season for any team, 73.42.
Woo!
Which is just there's some trades are going to be made, I'm sure. But we play in a really small league. It's only 6 of us. Which yours sounded didn't sound so big either. How many people do you have in yours?
We have 11.
11. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
way bigger.
Well, it's 10 teams.
10 teams, 11 people.
11 people.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the Soaring Profits apparently have to like buddy up.
Oh,
I don't count.
Okay.
It's the Canadian
so-
education system, Tommy. You know how it works.
Yeah. That makes sense. Sharing is caring, I guess, right? But I got kind of lucky this week. I had, I guess, the three big guys this week were Chase, Moore, and Etienne. I have Etienne on my bench this week. I didn't start him.
Oh.
So I got lucky. I didn't start him only because they're playing Buffalo, and I had high hopes that the defense of Buffalo would return to form, but that game was miserable. I'm a Bills fan, and all of our buddies around here are Bills fans. We had a big breakfast in the morning because of the game in London, and then we got to watch them lose embarrassingly to Jacksonville in England first thing in the morning. So that was not fun. That's why Etienne was on my bench.
Well, that was us as well. Like we ended up, I've got two Miami running backs on our team here. So we've got Mostert and the injured Wilson Jr. So we picked Wilson Jr. up in a waivers play, and we ended up picking up a really dominant Moss out of Indiana, Indianapolis, that really saved our ass at all this year. This week we were in a big bout of trouble because we had nowhere to go. My running backs. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. I support my Cleveland Browns. When Nick Chubb, who I took in the first round of this, when he went down, we bounced. I picked up Kareem Hunt. We had a whole mess of Cleveland Browns players, and it's their bye week.
So I had the same thing. My stud QB, Justin Herbert, obviously Chargers are on a bye week this week, so I had to replace him with Kirk Cousins, who. He did all right. He did okay. He did well enough for me to get enough to beat 73.42. So
perfect.
That's I can ask.
Well,
Chris is giving you grief there about the Browns, just so you know, in the comments.
I'm okay with it. I like if I love Chris. Chris is from Walking Tall, fantastic guy. I respect him as a person. I have been 24 years now a Browns fan. And if you think that I haven't heard it all and all of the like personal degradation that I go through every year thinking that this is going to be it, this is going to be the year, guys. The Cleveland Browns are going to X, Y, or Z. It doesn't even matter. I've said it all. I've thought, oh, this is a rebuilding year. This is a growth year. This year's the year. Every single one of them.
And so he decided that fantasy football, they would be our staple. I don't know why. I had no I don't like the people out there know that if you want to talk about like musicals, I'm in. Football, I don't know a whole lot, but I can talk the talk and walk the walk. Speaking of walking the walk, why don't we give a shout out to the people that are sponsoring this beautiful thing?
Oh, we definitely should do that, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
That would be good for us to do that, huh?
That would be great for us to do that. Like if we had the moment right now. There we go. So if we could start with Mike Asherbrainer of the Hounds of Business, a wonderful group that gets together on LinkedIn. Mike knows how to work LinkedIn, how to promote your business, and also help you network with key figures on LinkedIn that will make your business grow and be stronger. Brilliant Bee Media, of course, the beautiful Syya, who's to my left at the top, gorgeous as ever. Brilliant, as it says in her title. I will be faster. Brilliant Bee Media, she helps you with your podcasts and everything else. Caregiving Worldwide, the great Tracy Lamb. It's a network that helps caregivers in the home that help their families. It's going to help them learn about products and resources for people who are helping their families in the home. And of course, Walking Tall, the brilliant Chris, and I can't remember.
Todd Blylevin and Dr. Vanetta LaRosa. So guys, Walking Tall, I cannot tell you how much we support these guys. It is a global movement. It's all about picking yourself up and overcoming whatever obstacles there are in your life, or lending a hand and supporting others, and or receiving that hand so you can be pulled up with others. So walk tall together, everyone. #WalkTall.
and also be able to tell your stories, because telling our stories is what's going to end the stigma. Tommy, yeah, I heard a lot about you. Apparently, you're in some movies.
So I work as well, not movies. I haven't done any actual features yet. I work a lot on TV shows as either a grip or electric, which basically means you're assisting the cinematographers in a non-camera way, so lighting and it's setting scenes and making sure props and things are set up, and mostly lighting stuff is where my position falls. I work on a lot of it's either two things. I work on true crime shows, or I do ghost shows.
Amazing.
So it's two things.
So
it's a lot
pretty
of
much every woman listening to this right now is like, "Oh my god, true crime shows."
Yeah,
I have never had.
It's a great icebreaker.
Lately, I'm gonna tell you right now. Lately, every girlfriend I have that I run into is like true crime. They're watching it all the time, and it makes me afraid. I'm gonna say it makes me a little afraid, because I'm like, you not only know how to kill me, you know how to get away with it and hide the body, and no one will even know.
I've done so many true crime shows now that I've done shows where I've done the same murder multiple times, where like we'll get the call sheet for the day, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, this sounds really familiar. And then you get there and it's like, oh yeah, I remember this one. This is the one where she worked in the restaurant. She got killed in the kitchen. Yeah. I did this one like 3 times on another show. And so we shoot all the recreation stuff. So anytime it's like, all the show is, it'll be, them interviewing the sheriff and the sister of the victim or whatever. And then it'll cut to our footage of, some
I love it.
Sheriff guy writing down notes and whatever, and like on interrogations. I've shot like 100 interrogations.
So the biggest star you've worked with?
Well, that's the other thing, is that there's no audio
other than the Soaring Prophets.
Other than you guys, yeah. No, it's funny. It's not. They don't hire the actors really based off of their acting capability, but how similar they look to the real person.
Wow.
So it's a lot of like, it's like, oh, this is my first acting gig, and they're like, they hired me because I look like this murder victim, not really because I act.
I look like the chalk outline.
Well, I gotta say right now, you've seen our faces.
Yeah,
we're willing to do it. I'd love to be there. I could be in. I'm down.
It's possible for sure. They throw out like ads on Kijiji and stuff, and they're like, hey, we'll give you this amount of money, come play dead for 4 hours, right?
I do great stabbing victim number 3. I'm just saying.
It's a harder gig than it sounds, because you got to be on the floor covered in fake blood. It's really cold for hours on ends. Like, I feel really bad for some of these people sometimes.
Yeah,
it's the worst when you shoot. We would do like a murder that took place in California, but we're shooting it in November in a farm on Ontario in Ontario, and it's like, oh yeah, he was out fishing and he went swimming that day, so he died in his swim trunks, and we got to lay like some poor actor in the ditch for 3 hours in the freezing cold.
That doesn't sound fun at all.
I have a funny story around that. So I had a girlfriend who acted. I think it was like one of those forensic file shows, and she was the murder victim. And I just remember we'd come in and she'd be like, hey guys, they must have played an episode somewhere. I got 50 cents today. Yeah. And but she got recognized. Someone recognized her and they're like, aren't you dead? And she's like, I'm sorry, what? How random is
better
that?
Than the OnlyFans account kicking off and really taking a thing.
Dude,
recognized, maybe.
I know, right? But this is 1999 time period, right? So I was like, someone's got some incredible memory. Like,
yeah. Wow. That's why I've always thought, if you play a murderer on a TV show or something, like, I wonder what that's like when someone sees you. Like, they're not a murderer, but are they? How about we talk about? Sorry, go ahead.
One guy I worked with, he played a murderer in one show that I was on, and then I went to do this ghost reenactment show where it's like, oh, this haunted hospital or whatever, and he ended up playing the ghost in that show because he was kind of creepy looking. So it was like, man, you're a ghost, you're a murderer, like. Oh, like, it's like, if people recognize you, it's not for anything like super positive.
He's really big in October.
Yeah,
he's really big in October.
And it's like he was like 7 feet tall too. He was really tall, so it was like, yeah, no wonder this guy's getting a bunch of gigs as like the haunted doctor and the ghost of these guys.
So we got about 4 minutes left here before we have to say goodbye to the good people of ESPN Richmond. I was wondering what's coming up this week in the football here. What are we looking forward to?
Well, obviously we got a new set of games. I know for us, we are head to head with Walking Tall against Walking Tall this week. For us, it's going to be a tight one. We are projected to beat Walking Tall, but it's going to be a tight one. The Cleveland Browns, as we've all said, and all the guys have ripped into me already about being such a Browns heavy team. They're coming off a bye week. There's some potential there to be able to put some stuff together. We're going to need a big showing from the Miami Dolphins. But Tommy, who do you got, and who next week? Who are you hoping for? It sounds like your guys are coming off the bench after a bye.
Yeah, so I'm Herbert's definitely going to get the start again. I am playing against our only guy that is 0-5.
Nice.
So I am pretty confident that no matter who I put in, I can get away with a win. I'm going to keep, even though Cooper Kupp had really, really good minutes and a lot of targets, I'm keeping Puka Nacua in my receiver spot. And, of course, Christian McCaffrey is my number one guy. He is my hero. Even though he didn't play super awesome this week against Dallas,
I'm really hoping he is hurt in a bus accident or something before he gets to Cleveland. That's all I can say. Too soon.
That's not nice.
Listen,
Too
Nick
much.
Chubb went down week 2. I can be a little
Okay.
sassy at times, folks. We're going to talk reality here.
Okay, I'd like to segue into Tommy. Why don't you one more time tell us who your band is, how we get a hold of you?
Yeah, for sure.
And then we'll head out. Thank you very much to ESPN Richmond, Mike King, and all our wonderful sponsors and all you people out there who have watched this wonderful show and listened to it. Tommy, tell us who you are and how do we get a hold of you? Everyone else knows us.
My band is Twin Banshee. You can find us on all social media networks except for Twitter. We're not on X and Twitter, but Instagram at Twin Banshee. We have, funny enough, ESPN Richmond. Our next show is November 2nd in Hamilton. We're opening for this band Horseburner, who's out of West Virginia. It's kind of close to Richmond, but Horseburner's coming up from West Virginia. We're going to open for them November 2nd. November 11th, we are at the famous Bovine Sex Club in Toronto, opening for our good friends Black Absinthe. And then our last show of the year, it's going to be Past Presents Future Fest in Hamilton at the Corktown Pub, December 8th, part of a big festival lineup, 30-plus bands. It's going to be a ton of fun. You can listen to our new record, Rattle. Find it on all your streaming services.
Amazing. Check them out. That's us from Business Bets and Buddies. Thank you so much for coming. We love you all out there.
Peace.
Awesome.
This show would not be possible without the support of Mike King and ESPN Radio. A special thanks to our sponsors, Caregiving Worldwide at caregivingworldwide.com, Brilliant Beam Media at brilliantbeammedia.com, and the Walking Tall Movement at walkingtallmovement.com. Walk tall.